to.
Why?
Because if I don't, that means that all the damage I got isn't good damage. It's just damage.
Hello, how are you guys doing today? It is Lynetta Shay and I am back. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I usually call this beautifying from the inside out because it's all about healing and the various things that go into healing. Today I want to talk to you about self-love and how to embrace self-love. Oh yeah, and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is you're viewing this video. I want to talk about self-love today and how to embrace it, and we're going to break that down into 4 parts. It's going to be physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. So let's get started with number 1. So the physical is probably like the least of your worries, but it's something that we as people probably focus on the most because we have to go out in the world and people are so judgmental, and body shaming and all these other things can be like a part of your everyday life. Also, how you look aesthetically, what you drive, what you wear, where you live, and all these other things. Those have to do with your physical appearance. So I want to know how you feel about your physical appearance, because that plays a really big part in you loving yourself, how you feel about yourself on a daily basis. When you wake up, what is it that you see? Are you loving what you see? Are you loving who you are when you look in the mirror? But if you are not, there are things that you can do to change that. So let's talk about it. So the first thing is, do you like the size of your body, right? Are you physically fit? Or can you stand to work out and lose a couple of pounds? What does that look like to you? How can you pick up an exercise, a regimen, or a routine that is going to help you get to the physical appearance that you desire? Because that's going to make you feel better about yourself every single day. And when you are not happy with your weight or what you look like physically, it plays a major role in how you feel about yourself and how you love yourself. Also, like, do you like how your hair is, or your makeup, or anything? Anybody can get like a makeover, male and female. And identifying as an African American woman, or just a woman, period, like, we like to change our hair up all the time, right? So that is like something that you can do. If you, feel like you don't have the funds to really go and get your hair done all the time, YouTube is amazing. You're on YouTube right here, right now, watching this video. So go ahead and get you some tips and some tricks on how you can do those styles that you would like to do on your own. Go on Pinterest. They also have ideas as well. So you can always change up how you physically look aesthetically, with your hair, with your makeup, with your haircut, with the way you shave your beard and your mustache. Again, it's for guys too, because they have insecurities as well, right? So we don't want to exclude them at all. You can go and get yourself some clippers. If you can't afford them, the cosmetology schools, a lot of times, they give haircuts and things like that for really, really cheap by students. And I know sometimes, that could be like, I'm skeptical, but, do what you can. Go in there and observe some of the people or some of the students who are cutting and say, you know what, okay, I like that guy or I like that girl and how they did this cut on this person, or I like their style and the way that their technique is, or how they've been taught. So I'm going to go with them. But don't ever for once think that you don't have enough, or you can't do something to change something physically about your appearance to make you look in the mirror and say, I'm beautiful, I'm that girl, I'm that guy, and really feel it and mean it, right? Because when you feel it and you mean it with yourself, that is going to be shown on your outside. Your outer is going to exude that. Your whole energy is going to say, oh yeah, they think they're the it, or they're very confident in who they are. And it's going to make whatever you're doing, they're going to be confident in approaching you, talking to you. It's going to make the energy a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't feel like they're approaching someone with low self-esteem or anything. They're going to feel like they're approaching someone who has very high confidence level, so they need to come correct. So remember that how you feel about yourself always shows on the outside, whether you want it to or not, whether you try to cover it up or you try to mask it. People can really read energy and they can really see straight through that. So make sure that you are doing what it is that you can to make yourself be physically handsome or physically beautiful, because there are various ways that you can change up your look. Are you eating healthy? And that's going to go back to, did you work out? Are you toning up and things of that nature? Are you picking an exercise regimen? What are you eating as well? What are you putting into your body? Right now I need to lose like 8 pounds. Again, it is going to play a role in, there's something I can do to change my physical appearance that I do not like. I can eat healthier. I can work out. I can tone up. I can change my diet so that I am physically appealing to me first. Because this is all about self-love. It really doesn't matter how you look to somebody else, your weight to somebody else. It's going to matter how you look and you feel to yourself first. Same thing when it goes to your wardrobe. You can change your wardrobe all the time. Figure out what it is you really, really like, how you really want to dress and present yourself, and then go for it. What you wear is your style. It says a lot about your character. It says a lot about who you are, and it's always very unique to you. I think people can get a lot of your personality from just the clothes that you wear in general. So make sure that your clothes are also matching who you are and how you feel. And again, don't think about money, because all the time you don't need money, and don't be afraid to take things from other people if you need to. People go thrifting all the time. There are secondhand shops. So know that you don't need to have like a whole bunch of money to go out here and buy clothes. But if you do, that's awesome. That is amazing. Stop sitting on it and go and make something happen. Don't keep saying, oh, you wish you had more clothes, and you actually have the money to go get the clothes and you're not going to buy them. I don't know what's up with you. You need to have another conversation. But all I'm saying is that we all have the means. We all have the means, no matter how much you have or how little you have. We all have the means to change our physical appearance, because it could cost no money, it could cost little money, or it could cost a lot of money. It all depends on what you have, where you are, and how you want to go about changing your physical appearance. I do want to touch on, what the Bible says about physical appearance. So I am going to reference with you 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 3 through 4. Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and of wearing of gold, or of putting on an apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. So this is really saying that, your outer appearance does not matter as much as you think. It's more about your heart. It's more about what's inside your heart. And again, that is what we're talking about here. Self-love, right? It's not about the outer appearance. It's really about how you feel about yourself. It's really about what's inside your heart. However, I gave you all of these pointers prior so that if you are feeling down on yourself, understand that there are ways that you can make changes so that you feel better, because again, we are only human. So we're going to feel and think a certain way about ourselves. So understand that there are things that you can do to change your physical appearance, but also don't get so caught up on that too. What's in your heart matters the most, more than anything. All right, the second point I'm going to touch on is your mental. This could go like into your mental health or how you really think and feel about yourself, right? So how do you speak to yourself? That is really, really big. How you speak to yourself matters. And do you care more about how you feel about yourself versus how other people feel about you? Because that plays a major role in your mental health. Are you talking negative to yourself? Are you allowing the negativity from other people to dictate how you feel about yourself, which is ultimately going to bring on some sort of like anxiety or depression? And we don't want any of those things. So we want to speak to ourselves good, and we also want to drown out anything negative. The way that you speak to yourself also has a lot to do with your self-esteem. We want you to feel very good about yourself. You know, have that high energy. Think that I'm beautiful. I love myself. I'm intelligent. You know, I am a good business person. All these things, you know, I'm a good mom. I'm a good dad. I'm a good teacher. You know, I'm like the best at whatever it is I do. That's going to play a major role in your self-esteem, how you're talking to yourself, how you're feeling about yourself. Because what you're putting in your subconscious mind is, you know, very important. So you have to make sure that you are making a conscious effort to speak to yourself and think of yourself at the highest level, so that you are putting that out into the world, and so that is drowning in your spirit, that you love yourself, that you feel good about yourself. I'm not saying to think that you're better than the next person, absolutely not. But what I'm saying is, don't be so down on yourself. Think that you are great, you are beautiful, you are awesome, you are good at what you do. You are one of the best to ever do it, the best that ever done it, right? And if you carry that mentality with you, you know, you will feel a lot better. You will love yourself more and who you are. And whatever areas you are struggling in, they're going to start to get better, because you are feeling like you're the best anyway, talking to yourself amazing. So that's going to start to come through. You're going to start to improve in areas where you're weak or you lack, just because you have a higher self-esteem about who you are. How you heal, how you recover, and how you deal with trauma also plays a major role in your mental health. You know that you can always, go to God in prayer for anything. There are support groups. You have, your churches and your spiritual communities that you can reach out to. There's therapists, there are counselors, and all these other things, that you can do to get you through trauma and loss, and finding out a way to heal yourself. Because again, you not knowing how to navigate through those type of things is going to play a major role in your mental health. And we want you to be mentally stable. So you need to learn how to be resilient and have some strength, and learn how to take control back of your life and figure out what you need to do to navigate through those tough times, so that you are mentally healthy and mentally stable. Knowing how to fight through adversity, and transmute negative energy and all of that. That is going to play a major role in your mental health. So again, make sure that you stay on top of what it is you need. You're loving on yourself. You're nurturing yourself. You're filling your cup and not emptying out for the next person. You can't give anyone, anything, if you don't have it to give to yourself. So keep that in mind. If you are feeling down, you need everything for you right now. This is not the time for you to be pouring into somebody else. You need all of that energy to pour back into you so that you are mentally healthy. We're not suffering from anxiety. We're not suffering from depression. We don't need to go take meds and all these different things. We need to naturally learn how to heal ourselves and deal with our mental issues, which again, a lot of times come from, trauma and loss and all these other things that were heartbreaking to you, and you didn't know how to let it go. You held on to it in your mind. You have to let your mind, work through things and speak to yourself very kind and very nice so that you again are mentally stable and can handle life every which way it comes at you. I want to reference Philippians 4:6 when we are talking about, your mental and how that affects, your self-love. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. So again, that goes back to what I said about you going to God in prayer, you getting a therapist, you going to a support group or whatever it is, because you need to be able to have a place to lay your burdens down, to lay your cares down. And I want for nothing more than for God to be your first pick. But again, sometimes things are so much heavier. Not only do you need God, but you need somebody else to physically be there and talk to you and help you work through these emotions. So know that there are things out here for you to go to, but make sure that your first pick, that your first thing is going to be going to God, because ultimately, He is going to order your steps as well. He's going to lead you and guide you and give you that confirmation of, what's going to be right for you, what's going to be a good fit for you if you do need to have help outside of yourself, outside of Him. So I'm glad that I touched on that, because point number 3 is going to be actually spirituality. How is your relationship with God? What does your spiritual health look like? I think people always talk about mental health all the time, but your spiritual health plays a really big role in how you show up in the world and how you feel about yourself. How is your relationship with God? What and who do you believe in? Are you connected? Do you speak to Him? Are you tapped in the way that you should be? You can't just go through life raw dogging it. Understand that you need that spiritual aspect to keep you going in a very healthy manner. Your relationship with God also adds value to you as a person. You are speaking with and connecting to a higher power, the creator of all things. And, when you talk to Him, understand that He speaks to you back. So you get to know who you are and how valuable you are to Him. If He will cater to, the birds and the trees and the animals and the insects, then please know that you are very important to Him. So He is going to nurture you and make sure that you get exactly what you need in your spirit for you to go through life and be healthy and feel loved and have value. But you have to believe that. And again, know that your relationship with God also cultivates a sense of guidance. You're not just doing things just to be doing them. You feel like you were divinely led. You feel like you're walking in your purpose. You're doing exactly what it is that you were put here to do. Not only living out your dreams and goals, but living out the purpose that He has for you. But if you're unwilling to connect with Him, then there's going to be some sort of spiritual barrier there that you're not going to be able to get and see your breakthrough, because you have this wall up. So you have to take some time to pray, to get closer to Him, to sit in some grass or whatever it is you do, meditate and do all those things that helps you get connected to the higher power, your higher self, so that you can be spiritually healthy and connected. A lot of people like to say that everything in this world is spiritual, and I believe that to be true. So you have to be fully spiritually connected in your walk, so that you're able to go through life in a healthy manner and know that somebody is walking with you and with you at all times spiritually, whether you can see them or not. But that feeling, that energy, is something about it that's irreplaceable, I promise you. Also, when you become connected spiritually, you are connected mind, body, and spirit. Understand that. And it helps you to give yourself some grace when you do fall short and you do make mistakes, knowing that you're not perfect and you're just human, right? And you can get back up and try again, however many times you need to, right? Without judgment to Him. The world and everybody in it is so judgmental, but understand that He is not judging you and your mistakes per se, but He's definitely looking at your heart, right? So the relationship with God, with your higher power, with your higher self, with the universe, whatever it is that you subscribe to, understand that that gives you some grace. That gives you more of a sense of purpose than you ever could imagine. And you cultivating that relationship and nourishing that relationship and making sure that that is top priority on your list, because we're talking about self-love here. So self-care is everything, and you have to do what is best for you first to nourish you first. So that spiritual relationship is top tier. Don't leave home or go anywhere without it, okay? I want to reference Romans 8:5-6 when we are talking about spirituality and self-love. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So understand again that with you having that spiritual connection, it's going to give you peace of mind. It's going to give you purpose. It's going to make you love Him and be connected to Him even more, but even love yourself even more, So again, cultivate that spiritual relationship, because it's probably the most important out of everything that I'm mentioning here today. That spiritual relationship is number one. If you don't have that, you're kind of doomed. You're done for. So get to know Him. Get into your spirituality. It is the best thing you're ever going to do for yourself. And last but certainly not least, let's talk about emotions. Are you overly emotional? Or are you not in tune with your emotions? How are you doing? How are you feeling in that area? Understand that your emotions, no matter what the emotion is, it is valid. And it's important for you to feel it, right? You have to feel it to heal it. That's what they always say, right? But you definitely have to feel your emotions and understand that your emotions are valid. So you need to feel them and then start asking yourself the questions. Why am I feeling this emotion? What happened or what transpired to make me feel this way? That way you are able to work through your emotions and make more healthy responses to anything. You're not acting off of impulse or just, doing things on the fly. You have taken the time to feel your emotions, ask yourself, why they're validated, and then go through the proper channels of how you need to conduct yourself and show up in the world, and then work through that emotion. And understand that you working through that emotion helps you understand more about yourself, who you are and how you feel. Maybe even some trauma or some areas where you need to heal. Like when you start to work through your emotions, you literally get to know yourself so much more. You actually love yourself and you nurture the areas that you need to nurture so that you are a healthier, better person and your emotions are not all over the place or you're just not tapping into your emotions. So you're not so nonchalant or indifferent about everything. You have to find a balance and know how to work through your emotions and not be over the top, but not act like you don't care either. You have to find an even balance here, even keel. And know that like music and what you listen to and what you watch also plays a major role in your emotions. If you're already feeling sad, why would you go and listen to sad music? You're not going to do anything but make yourself be even more sad and feel that emotion even more. Although, sometimes sad music can be healing. So you need to figure out what that means to you, what that looks like to you. But if you're going into a more gloomy, dark place, then that's something different. I know that, like, let's just take heartbreak, for example, right? Okay, if you go through a heartbreak, male or female, because everybody in life has went through it and gone through it. You're like listening to these sad heartbreak and these love songs or whatever. However, some of these songs actually help you work through that pain and those emotions to help you heal and get back to a healthier space. So just be very cognitive of what it is you're putting in your mind, what it is you're putting in your spirit. What are you intaking into your body? And how is that itself making you feel? Now, how are the emotions showing up once I'm listening to this, once I'm watching this, once I'm, you know what I'm saying? You need to know yourself on a whole nother level. Make sure that what you are watching and what you are listening to is adding value to you and being settling to your emotions, healing to your emotions. If you're angry, you don't want to run off and start listening to gangsta rap music, or, heavy metal or something like that. No, we don't want you to be more angry. We want you to calm down, breathe, woosah. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you are intaking the right music, podcasts, whatever you're watching or you're listening to, so that you are handling and dealing with your emotions in a healthy manner. And the last point I want to make with emotions is, you're making head over heart decisions. Sometimes that can become very emotional because, that head over heart decision will affect other people, and people may be hurt and things of that nature. But you have to understand that when you are making head over heart decisions, a lot of times, you are doing what is best for everyone in the situation, although sometimes it does not look that way. But you definitely are. So you cannot let your emotions get in the way of you making the best decisions for yourself, for your family, and everyone around you that is going to be affected by the decisions that you make. You have to learn to kind of suppress those type of emotions so that you are making the right decisions, okay? And the last scripture that I want to give to you when I'm speaking about emotions is Proverbs 4, verse 23. It says, "Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." So, again, guard your heart. Be very careful about, what you're accepting, what you're listening to, what you're taking in, the decisions that you make that affect yourself and others around you. But also know that your feelings, your emotions, they are valid for you to feel. And so you need to be able to understand that the way that you speak to yourself, the way that you talk to yourself, the way that you handle you is going to teach other people how to handle you as well. So make sure that you are guarding your heart. You are not getting walked over and stepped on or whatever because you're giving too much. You're loving too much. That is taking away from the self-love that you have for yourself. Because again, if you don't have self-love, if you're not loving on you, you're really not loving nobody else. You kind of saying that you are, and you're kind of doing all of these things that look like love, but ultimately it's really not love. So make sure that love is going to start with you loving you first, so that you're able to love others properly, but also accept love from others properly too. I feel that a lot of times when we do go through like trauma and loss and things of that nature, you know, you hear about trauma bonding. People trauma bond all the time, and you don't want to do that because it's just feeding a pain. It's feeding a trauma. It's feeding an unhealed part of you. But if you take the time to heal those parts, you'll know that that domestic violence relationship is not the one for you, where they talking to you all crazy, where it's mentally abusive. You'll understand that, you know, this friendship circle isn't for you. They're always, you know, looking down on you or talking about you, or, you know, saying that you don't have this or you don't have that, or you're not as good as them in this area, or you need to do this and you need to do that and fix this and that about yourself. You know, stop trauma bonding with people. Stop putting other people's feelings over your own. Take care of your heart. Take care of you, because that's going to be how you flow in the world, right? And we want to be smooth sailing. We know we're going to run over some, we know we're going to, you know, ride over some waves, you know, here and there, but you got to be able to ride those waves diligently. You have to be able to ride those waves with self-love. That's the resilience that's going to play a part in your life. You know what I'm saying? You have to take control of yourself, of your life. And it's going to start with you doing what's best for you, loving on you properly. So again, others know how to love you properly, but you're also giving love in the proper manner and not just accepting whatever from whoever, whenever. So that is today's message, self-love and how to embrace it. I hope you have enjoyed and you took something from it. And again, as I say in every single video, be blessed. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.